Okay, before I start, I will be posting to my community tab whenever I plan on going live in the future. So if that is something that you want to tune into, whenever you can, that's going to be there. I want to, interact with this community more. I've been going live for the past couple of weeks, but I want to do it more frequently. So just stay tuned for that. And also, I finally made a Discord after many of you have asked me to do so. So if you want my username, just comment down below and I will happily oblige. Okay, the topic for today's video is about me suffering from delusions, right? And delusions of becoming successful more so. Yeah, the topic is delusions of becoming successful. I mean, that's a weird way to word it or phrase it, but you get what I'm trying to say. Recently, I have just been going through this phase of creativity where I almost feel somewhat ambitious and I want to create and just, I'm going to be honest. I am in this phase where I truly believe that I'm going to become rich or something, or famous, like a famous artist. And I don't know why I always do that. Every once in a while, I go through a manic phase where I'm so ambitious and excited to create art and draw, which I haven't drawn. This may sound like a sin to any artist, but I have not drawn anything since March of this year. It is November. I just gave up completely. So for me to have this surge of ambition, it's laughable in a sense because I never follow through. I'm not saying I get good ideas, but there are moments where I could have tried harder to, I guess you say, perfect my craft or work on my hobbies more to improve. But if you guys have watched my videos or tuned into my live streams, you know how I feel about, that sort of thing. When it comes to becoming rich or famous or successful, I feel like that's entirely rigged. This whole idea that we are somehow going to overcome our situations. Maybe I'm projecting a bit, but just speaking from my own personal opinion, I don't feel like I can do that for me. And it's not to make myself sound like a victim or anything, or make myself sound like I'm just complaining for the sake of complaining, but I have to be realistic. I have to be real with myself. I just don't see a future with me being some famous artist or some accomplished creator, And I'm kind of okay with that because you have to be. You have to be. It is an overly competitive world out there. And if you're someone, what I've noticed, right? If you're someone who is delusional enough to believe that you're someday going to become successful, it's you have to put yourself through insanity. And you have to keep going despite the fact that it's all rigged against you. It's set up for you to fail. And what I mean by that is, okay, for example, right? Let's say you want to become a underground rapper and you just research the community, you see who's the biggest artist, you get a feel for what's going on in the scene, and you just realize that most of the underground rappers coming up today, or just, not just rappers, that's just a random example, but it could be rock artists or pop singers, right? Any artist or most artists coming up today in the scene or in their own respective genres, most of the artists, quote unquote, they are all nepo babies. It's the more videos I watched and the more research I did, I realized that a lot of these artists, even directors and actors and producers, a lot of these people are nepo babies. And you you just ask yourself this question like, well, damn, if the entire industry is filled with Nepo babies, how can I even make a splash? How can I be a part of that? How can I do that? And this doesn't just apply to art, right? This can apply to anything. Any dream job you have, right? This can apply to that. Because even the job market is overly competitive. And you may have delusions of becoming a manager at your job, and it's rigged. It's all favoritism. It's people promoting who they want to promote. I have experienced that as well. So again, it's not just fame or riches or anything like that. It's not just Hollywood. It's the world in general. You can have delusions in any area, right? But my area is art, because art is the only thing that is like keeping me alive in a sense. Because again, you guys know or may not notice about me, but I am a avid daydreamer. Daydreaming is like my greatest cope. I have been doing it naturally since I was a kid. I used to just sit in class every single day and zone out. And I kind of had to do it back in the day because I was getting picked on a lot in school, and I just had to escape. And that's where my love of creation and art came from. It came from those days where I had to use my brain to escape. So I would sit in class and just daydream. And eventually it got to a point to where I would come up with stories. I used to draw stories, or like I used to draw and create stick figure stories when I was a kid. And I was so invested in those stories because it literally took me out of my reality, and ever since that, ever since those days as a kid, I kind of planted the seed in my brain to, if that makes sense. I planted the seed in my brain as a kid by creating stories. And now it's like as an adult, I feel like I'm supposed to pay it off or finish it or see it through as an adult and become successful. If that makes sense, right? So that's why I'm just saying, so it's all full circle is what I'm trying to say. It all comes back and it's all full circle now. And that's why I just have this delusion now. Because ever since a fucking kid, I don't know, I just saw myself doing better. But again, it's not depressing to admit where you can or cannot thrive. You have to be honest with yourself, and you have to realize that, maybe you're not going to be successful or successful in the way that you want to be. And I have to remind myself of that, even though it is harsh to admit that, because, my bad, I burped. My bad. But, yeah, it's brutal to have to admit that to yourself, that you're not going to become successful. And sometimes that's a very hard pill to swallow, man. It really fucking is, because, if you're Gen Z, this is our decade in a sense. Like, Gen Z is supposed to be the new face of art in a sense. We are supposed to be the ones who are ushering in this new era of art. And it sucks that I cannot be a part of that. And that's what bothers me the most. I don't care about money. I don't care about fame. I just want to make art that's good. And to some of you, that may sound trivial. People may say, well, who cares anyway? And that's how I feel also. I do feel like that. I do feel like it is trivial to even want to be successful in art. But again, I'm going to go back to what I said in the beginning. I am going through a manic phase of, I have just encountered a random surge of ambition. Like, I'm going through a weird phase right now where I just feel ambitious. I don't know if I'm bipolar, because I'm not going to lie, man. Just yesterday or a couple days ago or even a week ago, bro, I was severely depressed. I'm not going to diagnose myself, But honestly, I may have something going on in that area because one day I'll just wake up and I just feel good. And I promise you, nothing could happen to me. And I will just go back to being severely depressed and, like, even worse than that, if you catch my drift, if you understand what I'm trying to say. And it goes past just regular depression, and it gets to a point to where, deletion is thought about. That's how worse it, that's how bad it gets for me sometimes. So for me to feel like this right now is just, it's so random. So this video, it is funny, but this video right now is literally just a product of a random surge of ambition. Like a delusional ambition that I'm going through right now. That's why that's the only reason why you are getting this video. So that's kind of weird, that's kind of fucking weird. Because I promise you, the next video is going to be me just crying about something, or just going back to the same, well, this is the same thing I always make, but the next video is going to be more depressing than this one. So yeah, this was just a random spur of the moment thing where I just thought to myself, just do it, man. Just make a video about this. But yeah, I know it's cliche to desire something that's like unattainable to 99% of the population, but again, my brain is just going through this weird delusional stage right now, so I have to ride it out. But I don't know if this video makes sense. I'm all over the place. It's just, I don't know, man. Like I said before, it's not about fame. It's not about money. It's just more so about, it's like, I'm at this age in my life, or the age that I am at in my life, it has revealed to me, like, just getting older in general, right? Getting older in general has revealed to me that the only thing I really do care about is art. Like, I don't want to clock in and constantly work at a job. The only thing I want to do until I perish is make art. As long as the art is good to me, I can be fulfilled. So right now, I just feel like I'm delusional because my art is terrible, and yet I still think that I am going to become successful. So that's where the delusional aspect comes from. It's like, bro, the art you make is garbage. Why do you think that you're going to become some famous person? And also, people always, well, some people love to admit it, some people don't want to admit it, but your appearance also matters when it comes to becoming successful, especially in Gen Z's era. If you have a great voice, if you have a great height, or if you have, whatever, the whole nine, right? If you have something that is desired by the masses, then you have a greater likelihood of becoming successful, or your chances of becoming successful are greater if you have something that the society desires. So that goes without saying also. That's also what has kept me just in a state of content, because I realized that I don't really possess the physical traits that, I don't possess the physical traits that society desires, if that makes sense. So that's why this format, what I'm doing now, works for me. Because you don't have to see my face. You don't have to watch me and analyze everything I do and constantly focus on the fact that I'm not attractive. You can just hear my voice and just relate to the message, or don't relate to the message, but this format suits me better. But I know if I want to make a living off of my art, and if I want to never, ever go to another warehouse, I have to take the right steps, and I have to eventually show my face, and I have to somehow, take that leap. Because this channel may be, we have a cool niche cult thing going on with this channel in this community, but let's be honest, bro. This type of content is not going to get you to like a moist critical level or to like a Mr. Beast level where you could just wake up every day, post a video, and just have $100,000 in your bank account every month. Like, it's not, this community is not like that, bro. Which is kind of cool because it's real. It's like a real, it's like real conversations that are being had. So it's not something that's like, I don't know, you know what I'm trying to say. It's more, it's not as lucrative because of the subject matter that we discuss. So I'm fine with that, but I'm just trying to say, like, this format may suit me, but it's not going to make me money. And that's why I honestly don't care about making money off of this channel. It's more so a way for me to just scream into a void. Also, it's a way for me to relate to people who are like me and to reach other people who are like me. And it's sort of like therapeutic. It's very cathartic to get on here and just complain and just rant and just talk to you guys and understand what you guys are going through. And it's also a grown man just using the internet as his diary. You know, so, and and to somewhat transition into a different topic a little bit, it brings me to another thing that I have been thinking about also, which is the fact that I feel weird about doing this sometimes. I honestly do. I'm not the only one who has stated this before, but the fact that I get on here and just rant and do this, it does feel weird at times. It does, because I don't know, man. It's like, this is the only thing that I do that's somewhat productive, and I can't even tell my family about it. I can't show this to anyone as some accomplishment, because if they see what I talk about, if they watch my videos and, hear the things that I'm saying, they're going to be, put off by it. But at the same time, well, before I get to that point, and also, not only can I not show this to anyone, not only can I not show this to anyone in my everyday life, but people who don't know about this community, who come across my videos, right, they are also going to be put off because no one likes a complainer. Everyone hates someone who just complains all the time. Well, not me. I understand that. I understand it. I understand where people are coming from, but not everyone is like me. Not everyone has my mind to where I can see where people are coming from and I can understand their struggle. Most people can't do that. So the average person who can't do what I do, they just automatically say that you are a complainer, you are a professional victim, and you just cater to people who are like you. I don't like that type of thing, but again, that just shows the mindset of the general public, right? So that's why I feel weird about it, because, sometimes I do find myself in those situations to where I care about their opinion, but most days I don't. But, every once in a while I'll slip up and I somewhat care. So, sometimes I just feel weird about doing this, but I feel like it makes it better whenever I read, you guys' comments, or whenever I go live and you guys interact and you guys show love and you guys tell me how much you appreciate my content. That makes it all worth it to me. It really does. As corny and cliche and as overly sentimental as that sounds, man, I do appreciate whenever you guys tell me about how much you love my channel. I really do. That's why I encourage anyone who wants to do what I'm doing. I encourage you to just do it, bro. I really do. You have nothing to lose, especially if you are in this community and you call yourself a true cell and you call yourself whatever and you say it's over for you, then you have nothing to fucking lose, bro. Who gives a fuck about what people say about you in that sense? Because you already have nowhere else to turn to. So you might as well say fuck it and put your heart and soul into these videos, if that's what you want to do. Now, not everyone wants to do this shit, because it is not for everyone. But I just advise anybody, if you have nowhere else to turn to, if you have no one to talk to, if you can't afford a therapist or don't believe in that bullshit, then fuck it, make a video. Fuck it, bro. Who cares who watches, man? Like, whenever I had fucking 0 views or 2 views, I remember getting my first subscriber, bro. My first subscriber. And that shit was that's the only thing I cared about. That was my only goal at that point. My only goal was just to get 1 subscriber. And once I got that, once I had that 1 subscriber, I was content with that. I was content. Like, I'm not bullshitting. I was content with 1 fucking subscriber. Because again, like I said, to me, it's never about the views. It's never about the subscriber count being over a certain number. It's not about that for me. Because people forget. Let's say you have 100 subscribers. That's a lot of fucking people. 100 fucking people? I'm pretty sure you guys don't even work with 100 fucking people. So for 100 fucking people to watch your videos, that is a lot of fucking people. For 50 people to watch your videos, that's an entire fucking cookout, or that's an entire... Bro, go to a Walmart. That's like 50 fucking people on a good day. So for 50 people to watch your videos, bro, those are real souls. Those are real people. Those are real people watching your videos. Because, the reason why we look at 50 views as a low number is because it's always in comparison to a big YouTuber. Like, once you do that, you fail to realize that it's still 50 people. Like, if 50 people were in your apartment, you would have no fucking space. You'll be cramped. Those are the people who are listening to your videos, bro. And it may not seem a lot, or it may not seem like a lot, but to me it is. I don't know. It's all it's all to do with my perspective about these kind of things, right? And also what it really is too is that if you're someone who has no one to talk to go from talking to yourself and ranting and rambling to yourself to having 50 people listening to you, or even more than that, that is what gets me to see that it's a big number, because it's like 50 is better than no one, So if you're someone who really doesn't have anyone to turn to, you should be overly grateful or just content with at least 50 people listening to you rant, I don't know, man. I got off topic a little bit, but yeah, man, I just wanted to put this video out. This was a spur of the moment thing. I don't know why I even did this, but it was about time I uploaded the video and provided you guys with some content. But I have to get going because work is afoot and I must prepare for the 9-to-5 grind. I hate saying grind because that implies that I have a go-getter mindset and that I care about this fucking rat race bullshit. But you know what I'm trying to say. I have to clock in and make money and shit. So you guys take care, and I will be going live, so stay tuned for that and just be on the lookout for that. And also, before I leave out again, I have a Discord. So if you want to add me on Discord, let me know. Comment down below, and I will give you my Discord name. All right, guys, take care.